The rain hammered against the hospital window like it was trying to break through, mirroring the storm raging inside me as the doctor's words hung in the air. "It's cancer, Zara. Stage 3. I was 26, staring at the sterile white walls of Seattle General, feeling the world crumble under my feet. Not just my body failing, but my marriage, my dreams, everything I'd built since leaving my small-town roots in Oregon for this gray city that promised reinvention. And then, like a lifeline thrown into the abyss, Lena burst through the door, her auburn curls wild from the downpour, eyes wide with that fierce, unyielding fire I'd always leaned on since we were kids trading secrets under the bleachers. She didn't say a word at first, just crossed the room in 3 strides, pulled me into her arms, and held me as the sobs tore out, raw and unrelenting. "You're not doing this alone," she whispered finally, her voice steady against my shattering heart. In that moment, with the beeps of machines and the scent of antiseptic choking the air, I realized Lena wasn't just my best friend. She was the anchor I'd been too blind to see, the one who'd been holding me up long before I even knew I was falling. We'd met in freshman year at the University of Washington, 2 wide-eyed girls from nowhere towns navigating the chaos of college life. I was the artsy type, sketching feverishly in coffee shops, dreaming of gallery shows. Lena was the biology major with a laugh that could light up the gloomiest Pacific Northwest afternoon, always dragging me to hikes in the Olympics where we'd talk about everything and nothing. She was the one who held my hand through my first heartbreak with Jake, the charming barista who ghosted me after 3 months. "Men are idiots," she declared that night, passing me a tub of Ben and Jerry's on her dorm room floor. "But you've got me, Z forever." I'd laugh then, chalking it up to best friend loyalty, never imagining those words would echo back years later, laced with a truth that would upend my world. By the time the diagnosis hit, Jake and I had been married 2 years, rushed into it after college, thinking stability was the antidote to uncertainty. He was steady, predictable, the kind of guy who remembered anniversaries with carnations. But steady turned to stagnant, and when the fatigue started, the unexplained bruises, he pulled away first. "I can't watch you fade, Zara," he'd said one evening in our cramped Capitol Hill apartment, packing his duffel with the finality of a closing door. The divorce papers came a week before the biopsy results, leaving me adrift in a sea of medical bills and empty closets. Lena was there before the ink dried, quitting her lab tech job without a second thought to move in and handle the bullshit, as she put it. She cooked meals I couldn't stomach, drove me to endless appointments, and sat through the chemo sessions where I'd puke my guts out into plastic basins, her hand never leaving mine. Those early days blurred into a haze of nausea and needles, the kind of dark where hope feels like a myth. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., drenched in sweat from night fevers, convinced this was it. The end at 26, no kids, no legacy, just regrets stacking like unpaid rent notices. Lena would sense it, padding into my room in her oversized flannel, sliding under the covers without asking. "Sure, I've got you," she'd murmur, her breath warm against my neck, body curving protectively around mine like a shield. It was innocent, I told myself, comfort from the sister I never had. But in the quiet, with her heartbeat sinking to mine, something stirred, a whisper of warmth that scared me more than the tumors ever could. One afternoon, after a particularly brutal round that left me bald and brittle, we escaped to Golden Gardens Park, the beach a rare splash of sun piercing the clouds. Lena had packed a picnic, strawberries, and that cheap rose we loved, insisting fresh air was better than any drug. I leaned against her on the driftwood log, the sound lapping gently, Puget Sound's ferries cutting white paths in the distance. "What if I don't make it?" I whispered, the words slipping out like a confession. She turned, cupping my face with hands that trembled just once, her green eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that stole my breath. "Then I'll carry your light, Zara. Every damn day." The way she said my name, soft and reverent, sent a shiver through me, not fear, but something electric, forbidden. I pulled away, blaming the chill wind, but that night, Alone in bed, I replayed it, wondering why my heart raced at the memory of her touch. As treatments dragged on, the apartment became our fortress, walls papered with get-well cards from distant relatives and sketches I'd managed to pencil during lucid hours, mostly of Lena, capturing her in stolen moments, laughing over takeout Thai, asleep with her head on the couch arm, a book splayed open on her chest. She noticed, of course. "You're turning me into art now," she'd tease, but there was a flush to her cheeks, a hesitation in her smile that made my stomach twist. Jake's occasional check-ins turned venomous. He'd corner her on the phone, accusing her of meddling, but she shut him down every time. "She's my family, Jake. Step off." Hearing that pride in her voice for me chipped away at the walls I'd built around my heart, walls built on societal scripts. Straight, married, normal. What if normal was the real poison? Fall turned to winter, the chemo cycles relentless, each one stripping me thinner, physically, emotionally. Holidays loomed like ghosts. Thanksgiving was just us, turkey burning in the oven while we danced to old indie playlists in the kitchen, her hands on my waist guiding clumsy steps. "See? Life still got rhythm," she said, spinning me until I giggled. Dizziness be damned. Christmas Eve, snow blanketing the city in unnatural white. We bundled up for Pike Place Market, the air thick with evergreen and clam chowder. She bought me a silver bracelet, delicate chain with a tiny anchor charm. "For when I'm not around to pull you back," she explained, fastening it on my wrist. Our fingers lingered, skin to skin, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to that point of contact. I wanted to lean in, to taste the possibility on her lips, but fear clamped down. What if I ruined us? What if this was just gratitude masquerading as desire? The new year brought scans, shrinkage, the oncologist said, a sliver of hope amid the wreckage. But hope unearthed doubts, too. I'd catch Lena watching me, her gaze lingering on my mouth, my collarbone, with a hunger that mirrored my own buried ache. One night, post-remission party thrown by our old college crew at a dive bar in Fremont, the drinks flowed, loosening tongues and inhibitions. Jake showed up uninvited, drunk and desperate, cornering me by the jukebox. "You look good, Z. Maybe we could." His hand on my arm felt like chains. Before I could shove him off, Lena was there, wrenching him away with a force that shocked us both. "Touch her again, and I'll end you," she growled, low and lethal, eyes blazing. The bar fell quiet, then erupted in cheers for her, but outside in the alley, rain sluicing down, she broke, sobbing into my shoulder. "I can't lose you. Not to him, not to this." I held her, heart pounding, the line between friendship and forever blurring in the neon glow. Spring thawed the city and my veins, treatments tapering as pink cherry blossoms dusted the streets like confetti. I started painting again, canvases blooming with bold strokes, women entwined in sunlight, shadows yielding to color. Lena posed for one, uncomplaining, her body draped in a silk sheet on our fire escape, afternoon light gilding her curves. "You're beautiful," I breathed, brush hovering, and she smiled slow, like she knew the double meaning. That evening, over wine on the balcony, the space needle twinkling afar, she asked about my marriage's end, not the logistics, but the heart of it. "Did you ever feel seen? Truly?" Her voice was careful, probing. I shook my head, admitting the emptiness, the performance. "With you, though, it's different. Real." The admission hung, charged, and she reached across, tracing the anchor on my wrist. "It always has been, Zara. For me, anyway." The words landed like a spark on dry tinder. I froze, pulse thundering, as fragments clicked. The way she'd always chosen me over dates, canceled plans without regret. The photos from our road trip to the Badlands, her arms slung possessively around my shoulders. The quiet mornings where she'd brew my coffee just right, memorizing my silences. "Lena." I started, voice cracking, but she was already leaning in, forehead to mine, breath mingling. "I love you. Not as a friend. Have for years." I waited because I couldn't bear to complicate your pain. Tears welled, mine and hers, salt mingling as our lips met, tentative, then fervent, a dam breaking after a lifetime of restraint. It was soft rain after drought, her hands cradling my face like I was porcelain, and fire all at once. In that kiss, under Seattle's endless sky, I tasted salvation, not from illness, but from the lie I'd lived. But revelation birthed reckoning. The next weeks were a whirlwind of stolen touches and whispered confessions, our bodies rediscovering each other in the safety of home. She traced the scars from surgery with reverent fingers, calling them maps to your strength. I'd wake to her humming in the kitchen, pulling her back to bed for lazy mornings tangled in sheets, learning the geography of her size. Yet shadows lingered, my body's betrayal, the whispers of phase from old friends, Jake's bitter texts demanding explanations. And deeper, my own terror. Was this love, or desperation's disguise? One night, after a gallery opening where my work sold for the first time, portraits of us, veiled in metaphor, a critic cornered me. Such raw, queer energy. Is it autobiographical? The question sliced, forcing confrontation. Back home, Lena found me curled on the couch, doubts spilling. What if I'm broken? What if I can't love you right? She knelt before me, eyes fierce. Love isn't about right or perfect, Zara. It's showing up, scars and all. You've taught me that. We talked till dawn, unraveling fears, her closeted youth in conservative Spokane, my straight-laced upbringing that buried any inkling of this truth. By sunrise, resolve hardened. We'd face it together, unapologetic. Summer scorched the city, heat waves mirroring the fire between us. We road tripped to the Oregon coast, the one we'd dreamed of as teens, camping under stars at Cannon Beach. Haystack Rock loomed like a sentinel as we walked hand in hand, waves crashing symphonic. There, on the sand, she proposed, not with rings but promises. Build a life with me, Zara. The real one. I said yes through laughter and tears, the ocean swallowing our cheers. Fall brought full remission, a clean scan that felt like rebirth. We moved to a brighter apartment in Ballard, walls alive with my art, her lab posters mingling. Jake faded to a footnote, signing papers with grudging grace. Our circle expanded, queer book clubs, pride hikes, where love like ours was an anomaly, but anthem. Yet the darkest days' echo lingered, a reminder, fragility forges the deepest bonds. One crisp October evening, 2 years to the diagnosis day, we stood on that same hospital rooftop garden, city sprawled below. Lena slipped a ring on my finger, simple gold band etched with anchors intertwined. Through storms and sun, she vowed. I pulled her close, heartful. All along, you were my light. In her arms, I knew, love isn't absence of dark, but courage to hold on till dawn. And ours? It was the story worth every scar. The remission party had been Lena's idea, a defiant middle finger to the universe that had tried to steal my spark. Our living room overflowed with fairy lights strung haphazardly, the scent of Lena's famous lavender lemon cupcakes mingling with the earthy tang of craft IPAs from the local brewery. Friends from every corner of my life crammed in, college roommates nursing glowing mocktails, the barista crew for my pre-diagnosis shifts at the indie cafe, even my oncology nurse, Sarah, who'd become an unlikely confidant with her dry wit and secret tattoo collection. Laughter bounced off the walls, a symphony I'd forgotten existed, but beneath it, my skin hummed with unease. It was my first big night out since the choppy hair grew back in soft waves, since the weight returned to my cheeks. I caught glimpses of myself in the mirror, hazel eyes brighter, but shadowed by the what-ifs that chemo couldn't eradicate. Lena navigated the crowd like a pro, her auburn curls tied in a loose bun that begged to be unraveled, green sundress hugging her frame in a way that made my throat dry. She'd been my shadow all evening, refilling my water glass, deflecting probing questions with deflections laced in humor. Zara's a warrior. kicking Cancer's ass and coming back swinging, she'd say, arms slung casually around my waist, thumb tracing idle circles that sent sparks up my spine. To everyone else, it was best friend affection. To me, it was foreplay, a secret language we'd only begun to speak fluently since that rainy alley kiss months ago. Jake's arrival shattered the bubble. He'd texted earlier. Heard you're celebrating. Mind if I swing by? And against Lena's hissed protests, I'd agreed. Closure, I told myself, a chance to prove I was whole without him. But as he pushed through the door, beer gut straining his button down, eyes glassy from whatever bar crawl preceded this, regret soured my stomach. He beelined for me, ignoring the wary glances, clapping my shoulder too hard. Babe, Zara, you look alive. Missed this. The pet name grated, a relic from a life that no longer fit. I stepped back, smile brittle. It's good to see you too, Jake. Thanks for coming. He didn't take the hint, launching into a monologue about his new gig at a car dealership, how he'd turned things around post-divorce. The room's energy shifted, conversations dipping as heads turned. Lena materialized at my side, her hand finding mine, squeezing once, grounding, possessive. Hey, Jake. Grab a drink, she suggested, tone even but edged like broken glass. He waved her off. Nah, just catching up with my wife. Ex. The emphasis landed like a slap, and something in me recoiled, not from him, but from the version of myself he'd once defined. As the night wore on, the crowd thinned, but Jake lingered, nursing his fifth beer by the speakers, eyes tracking me like a hawk. I excused myself to the kitchen for air, splashing cold water on my face, staring at the faucet's drip as memories flooded. Wedding vows in a courthouse garden, his hand heavy on my thigh during drives to Portland, the slow erosion when sickness replaced spark. A creak pulled me back, Jake in the doorway swaying. We were good, Z. Before all this. His voice slurred, hand reaching for my arm. You owe me a second. No. The word escaped sharp, surprising us both. But he pressed closer, breath sour, fingers digging in. Panic flared, old instincts screaming flight. Then chaos. Lena stormed in, wrenching his arm back with a grip honed from years of rock climbing. Let go. Her voice was thunder, low and lethal. Jake stumbled, whirling on her. This your fault? Turning her against me. You dyke bitch? The slur hung, venomous, and the room froze, Sarah gasping, my roommate Mia stepping forward half-hearted. Time slowed. Lena's face paled, then hardened, a mask cracking to reveal the raw wound beneath. I'd known hints, her high school stories glossed over, the exes who never lasted. But this? She released him, not with fear, but fury, shoving him toward the door. Out. Now. Or I call the cops. Jake laughed, bitter, but backed away, muttering curses as Mia and Sarah herded him into the hall. The door slammed, lock clicking, and silence crashed in. Lena sagged against the counter, breaths ragged, hands shaking as she gripped the edge. I crossed to her in a heartbeat, pulling her into my arms. Hey, I'm here. She buried her face in my neck, body trembling, and when she spoke, it was a whisper fractured by tears. I hate that word. Hate what it hides. We sank to the floor, backs to cabinets, the party ghosts milling awkwardly beyond. Mom's church, the whispers in Spokane. I buried it all when we met. For you. Because straight girls don't. She trailed off, pulling back to search my face, eyes stormy. But you do. You see me. I cupped her cheek, thumb brushing a tear track, heart aching with the weight of her courage. I see you, Lena. All of you. And I love what I see. The words felt inadequate, but they unlocked something, her leaning in, lips claiming mine with desperate tenderness, right there on linoleum amid spilled ice cubes. The kiss tasted of salt and strawberry frosting, a vow amid ruins. Friends cleared out with knowing smiles, leaving us to the quiet unraveling. That night, Wrapped in each other's arms on the couch, we peeled back layers. She spoke of first crushes on camp counselors, the terror of prom with a beard as cover, the relief of college where I became her safe harbor. You were my what if, Zara. The one I dreamed of confessing to under stadium lights. I confessed too, fleeting college curiosities dismissed as experimentation, the comfort in her that always edged toward craving. You weren't just my rock. You were my why. Dawn crept in, painting us gold, and as sleep claimed her, head on my chest, I traced her curls, marveling at the miracle of us. The fallout rippled. Jake's texts escalated, apologies laced with barbs, accusations of brainwashing. I blocked him, but the slur echoed, stirring my own doubts. At my next therapy session, mandatory post-treatment, Dr. Ellis probed gently. Queer identity after trauma. It's common to question. I left rattled, wondering if this was rebound or a revelation. Lena sensed it, over dinner at our favorite faux spot in the International District, chopsticks pausing midair. Talk to me. I did, spilling fears of inauthenticity, of loving her from gratitude's shadow. She listened, then set her bowl down, eyes steady. Love me by showing up, Z. Day by day. That's all I need. So we did. Dates bloomed tentative. Sunset picnics at Gasworks Park, her teaching me constellations while I sketched her profile against the rusting silos. Intimacy deepened slow, exploratory. Nights where we'd map each other's bodies with whispers and wonder, her fingers learning the dip of my spine, my lips discovering the freckles dusting her thighs. Vulnerability was our aphrodisiac. She'd cry sometimes, post-climax, overwhelmed by joy, and I'd hold her, whispering, "We're real. This is us." Yet external storms brewed. My art career ignited, a solo show at a Fremont gallery, pieces titled Anchors Away, selling to collectors who saw the queer undercurrents. Reviews praised the visceral lesbian longing, thrusting us into spotlights we weren't ready for. Protests erupted outside, conservative groups picketing with signs decrying indoctrination. Lena shielded me, but one evening, as we slipped out a back alley, a man lunged, shouting slurs, hand grazing her arm. Adrenaline surged. I yanked her away, hailing a cab, hearts hammering. Home. Barricaded, we clung, fear morphing to fierce resolve. They can't touch this, she vowed, forehead to mine. Not our love. Summer's heat wave trapped us indoors, fans whirring lazy as we binged old rom-coms, mocking the heteronormative tropes. But levity cracked under pressure. My energy dipped, echoes of fatigue, and scans loomed. Waiting rooms' silences stretched taut. Her hand in mine was lifeline. Results clear. We celebrated with rooftop champagne, city fireworks bursting like affirmations. To survivals, she toasted, clinking glasses. And the loves they birth. As leaves turned, we planned futures. Her grad school apps for marine bio, my studio dreams. Family calls tested. My parents, visiting from Oregon, met her as roommate, but their sidelong glances hinted at suspicions. Lena's mom, a widow in Spokane, sent passive-aggressive cards, but Lena called anyway, voice steady. This is my life, Mom. Her name's Zara. The line went quiet, then softened. As long as you're happy, Bean. Progress, fragile as first frost. One weekend, we drove to the San Juan Islands, ferry slicing Salish Sea, Orcas breaching distant. Cabin rental overlooked pebble beaches. We kayaked at dawn, her laughter echoing as seals bobbed curious. Evenings by fire pit, as mores melting. She pulled a box from her pack. 2 silver rings, anchors etched opposing. Not marriage yet, but promises. Kneeling in sand, she slipped one on my finger. Will you, Zara? Build storms and sun with me. Tears blurred stars. I nodded, sliding the match on hers. Yes. All in. Back in Seattle, life wove tighter, queer support groups where stories mirrored ours, hikes with packs of women loving women. Jake resurfaced once, sober apology over coffee. I forgave, Not for him, but freedom. Be happy, I said. He nodded, ghosts exorcised. Winter whispered in, holidays ours alone. Tree trimmed with seashells, stocking stuffed with inside jokes. On Christmas, under lights, I gifted her a portrait. Us as sirens on sound shores. My muse, I inscribed. She wept, pulling me close. My everything. The darkest days receded, but their gift endured. Clarity that love defies labels, thrives in vulnerability. With Lena, I wasn't survivor alone. I was seen, cherished whole. And in her eyes, every dawn, I saw our forever, unspoken no more, blazing bright. Remission's glow faded into routine's hum, but the undercurrent of our love pulsed steady, a river carving canyons through doubt. By 28, Seattle had softened its edges for us. Rainy mornings in our Ballard walk-up, where Lena's alarm chirped sea shanties, pulling me from dreams into her orbit. I'd watch her dress for the aquarium lab, white coat over jeans, auburn hair pinned practical, and feel that familiar ache. How had I missed this pull for so long? Mornings blurred into coffee kisses, her lips tasting of oat milk lattes, before she dashed out, leaving post-its on the fridge. Conquer the canvas, love. Dinner's on me. My studio, a converted garage behind a neighbor's hedge, became sanctuary. Easels groaned under half-finished works, bold abstracts of intertwined forms, colors bleeding passion, deep indigos for our quiet intimacies, fiery crimsons for the fights that honed us sharper. Sales trickled to streams. A piece fetched 5 figures at an online auction, funding a trip to Provincetown's Art Fest. Lena cheered loudest, framing the check on our mantle like a trophy. My girl's a rock star. But success unearthed imposter syndrome, whispers that my queer awakening was gimmick, not genius. She'd counter with logic and lust, late nights critiquing strokes, her body distracting, proving my touch electric on canvas and skin. External phrase tested our weave. Pride Month swelled the city, parades snaking through downtown, rainbows draping every lamppost, but backlash simmered. Online trolls dissected my show, calling it tragic dyke propaganda. Lena shielded my feed, but one viral thread hit home. Zara Ellis, cancer pity cells, but is the lesbian bit real? I spiraled, laptop slamming shut, retreating to the studio where paint smeared cathartic. She found me at midnight, covered in cerulean, berating a ruined panel. Hey, warrior. Dropping her keys, she crossed the tarp-strewn floor, pulling me up. Their noise? It's fear of your fire. We made love there amid turpentine fumes, slow and reclaiming, her whispers erasing echoes. You're mine. Real as this. Family bridges creaked too. My parents' Oregon visit stretched 2 weeks, their rental car idling outside like judgment incarnate. Dad, a retired logger with calloused hands and quiet faith, clapped Lena's back too firm, calling her the helpmate. Mom, floral-aproned homemaker, cornered me in the kitchen. She's lovely, dear, but is this phase over? The question landed like a gut punch, stirring childhood sermons on natural order. I choked on tears, plating salmon unsteady. Lena diffused with charm, hiking Discovery Park with Dad, trading recipes with Mom, but tension coiled. That night, post-bedtime stories for the ghosts of kids we might have, we vented in bed. They love you, she soothed, fingers combing my hair.
Giving chimney.
We did. Her side fractured sharper. A Spokane trip for her cousin's wedding unearthed old wounds, church pews stiff with hypocrisy, aunts cooing over eligible bachelors. Lena's mom, Evelyn, had thought to polite calls, but face-to-face, eyes darted from our linked hands. At the reception, a drunk uncle slurred. Still playing for the other team, Lena? Laughter rippled cruel. She froze, wineglass trembling. I stood, voice steel. It's love, Uncle Ray. Try it sometime. The table hushed, Evelyn's face crumpling apology later in the garden. I failed you, Bean. Protecting you from this. Lena hugged her fierce. You didn't. You raised a fighter. Drive home was silent healing, windows down, wind whipping confessions. I want kids someday. With you. Her hand on my thigh. Then let's dream it real. Autumn's palette mirrored our growth. Crimson maples framing runs along the Burke-Guilford Trail, where we'd pause at overlooks, breathless, stealing kisses amid ferns. Lena's grad acceptance to UW's oceanography program meant late nights studying bioluminescent plankton, me sketching her under desk lamps, profile etched in lamplight gold. We'd celebrate breakthroughs with midnight swims in Lake Washington, water cool against summer's linger, her body buoyant against mine, laughter bubbling like the depths she chased. But darkness circled unbidden. A routine checkup unearthed anomalies, elevated markers, shadows on the scan. Waiting for biopsy, fear clawed back, nights sleepless, her arms my only anchor. If it returns, I whispered once, dawn graying windows. Promise you'll stay. She bolted up, eyes flashing. Stay? I'd fight it with you, Zara. Fangs and all. The procedure blurred, needles pinch, her hand vice-tight in the hall. Results. Benign cyst, false alarm. Relief, crash title. We fled to the coast, crashing waves at Westport, building sandcastles absurd, crowns of kelp. Our empire, she declared, queen to my consort, salt-kissed and free. Winter holidays healed rifts. Evelyn visited, tentative, bearing pie and questions. Over eggnog by our tree, ornaments from thrift hauls, each a memory, she asked. How'd you know? Lena glanced my way, soft. She saw me first. Mom and Dad Skyped in, toasting awkwardly. Progress in pixels. New Year's. We renewed rings under Dick's drive-in neon, burgers greasy, resolutions whispered. More us. Spring bloomed collaborations. My murals for the aquarium, her guiding tours laced with my illustrations. Pride that year, we marched hand-furled, banners bold. Love after loss. Strangers cheered. A kid waved rainbow flag, eyes wide. Home spent, we collapsed laughing. We did it, I murmured, head on her chest. Yeah, she breathed. And we're just starting. Yet trials tempered joy. A gallery contract soured, curator demanding less Sapphic, more universal. I walked, integrity intact, but bills loomed. Lena moonlighted bartending, foam-flecked shifts ending in my arms, exhaustion shared. One storm-lashed night, power out, candles flickering, we played truth. Worst fear? Mine. Recurrence stealing her. Hers. Not being enough. Tears, then tenderness, bodies affirming lies to fears. Summer solstice. We escaped to the Cascades, tent pitched by Alpine Lake, stars carpet vast. Bonfire crackled stories. Our first meeting, her instant crush, my oblivious heart. Fate's funny, she said, embers glowing. Or just us stubborn. Dawn hiked to Sahel Arm, wildflowers riot, we vowed a top glacier view. Through every season. Rings glinted sun, love, our compass. Fall's harvest brought harvest of dreams, her thesis defense aced, my book deal for illustrated memoir. Anchored hearts. Launch party buzzed, Evelyn front row, beaming. Post-toast in alley shadows, Lena pulled me close. Proud doesn't cover it. Kiss deepened, world fading. Winter's hush gifted quiet, snowshoeing in Snoqualmie, tracks mingling. Christmas, we adopted a rescue mutt, Luna, tail-wagging chaos. NY, balcony fireworks, her toast. To dark days birthing this light. I clinked, heartful, survivor's grace, lover's fire. Life's tapestry wove resilient, scans clean, art thriving, love deepening. In Lena's gaze, I saw eternity. Not absence of storm, but dance within. We'd emerged, not unscathed, but unbreakable. Two women, one story, forever entwined. The memoir's release catapulted us into a whirlwind neither anticipated. Book tours snaking from Seattle's Elliott Bay to Boston's indie shelves, my voice cracking on stages recounting chemo couches and closet doors flung wide. Lena tagged along when labs allowed, her presence a talisman, hand on my knee under signing tables, green eyes winking encouragement from audience shadows. Fans approached tentative, women with stories mirroring mine. Hugs exchanged like lifelines. You gave words to my silence. One whispered in Portland, tear-streaked. I nodded, throat tight, glancing to Lena, who mouthed, legend, her pride my oxygen. But spotlight scorch. Media gigs probed invasive. A Portland radio host, Mike Hott, asked, so, cancer made you gay? Or was it always there? Laughter tittered awkward. I froze, script of poise fracturing. Lena, off mic in the booth, gripped the glass partition, knuckles white. Post-show, hotel room a sanctuary, I paced, rage simmering. Like trauma flips a switch? As if my love for you is pathology. She pulled me down, legs tangled on the bedspread. It's ignorance, Z, not truth. Her kiss silenced storms, bodies reaffirming autonomy. Slow explorations under thread count sheets, her murmurs mapping desire's authenticity. Home gaps strain sinews. Her thesis fieldwork meant weeks at sea on research vessels, radio crackling updates from Salish currents. I'd pace the apartment, Luna whining at doors, studio blank under fluorescent buzz. Letters bridged, her scrawled on waterproof notepads. Miss your laugh in the waves. Counting swells till home. Mine, inked fervent, painted us adrift, come anchor me. Reunion nights ignited, her salt crusted in my doorway, duffel dropping, mouths crashing hungry. Miss this, she'd breathe, hands rediscovering curves, as if separations sharpen senses. Family evolutions unfolded gradual. My parents' next visit, summer barbecue in our backyard, grill smoke curling, Luna begging scraps brought breakthroughs. Dad, beer in hand, pulled Lena aside by the fence. Heard the book. Proud of you girls. Stilted, but sincere. Mom later, washing dishes, squeezed my hand. We see it now. The way she looks at you. Like Dad did me. Tears pricked, bridge mending, plank by plank. Evelyn's arced boulder. Spokane Christmas invited us. White-knuckled drive over passes. Evergreen bowed snow. Her bungalow glowed wreath-wrapped. Dinner table set fine. Turkey carved tentative. Post-meal, fire crackling. She handed Lena a box. Old photo album. Yellowed pages flipping to teen Lena. Awkward grins beside tomboy friends. Knew then, I think. Feared for you. Voice quavered. Lena hugged fierce. You protected me best by loving hard. Next morning over coffee, Evelyn to me. Take care of my girl. She's rare. Ringed hands clasped. Matriarchal blessing, hard one. Yet shadow stalked. A recurrent scare, routine bloodwork off. Echoes of old dread sent us spiraling. Our weight, fluorescent harsh, her thumbs circling my palm mantra-like. Biopsy weight, days blurred anxious, walks along Alki Beach, sand sifting resolutions. If positive, she said one dusk, gulls wheeling, we pivot. Adopt, travel, live louder. Results negative, hormonal blip. Elation erupted, rooftop rave with queer collective, bodies pulsing bass, her lips on mine under strobe. Unbreakable, we chanted, sweat slick, alive. Career crescendos, crested waves. My TEDx invite, Seattle stage, spotlight warm. Narrated our arc, illness as catalyst, love as cure. Applause thundered, backstage. Lena waiting, flowers wilting in grip. You slayed. We jetted to Provincetown post-talk, Cape Cod windswept, galleries galore. There, amid lobster traps and lighthouse beams, she proposed proper. Knee in dune grass, ring velvet. Marry me, Zara? Make the unspoken eternal. Yes sobbed, sand-dusted. Ocean roared witness. Wedding whispers wove plans, small, beachside, Washington coast. Invites scripted, parents, core crew, Evelyn matron. Dress fittings in Fremont boutique, mirrors multiplying joy, me in ivory lace, her in tailored navy, anchors embroidered hems. Honeymoon dreams, Greek Isles, ruins romantic. But pre-vow hurdles humped. Jake's shadow resurfaced, email chain from mutual friend, wedding buzz leaking. Congrats? Or pity party sequel. Venom stung. I drafted reply fire, but deleted Lena's counsel. Silence starves trolls. Instead, therapy doubled down, couple sessions unpacking codependency fears, emerging tighter. Spring equinox, bachelorette fused, girls hike to Rattlesnake Ledge, wildflowers crown, champagne summit sipped. Lena's crew regaled tales, her college flirts fumbled, my oblivious charms. Laughter echoed ridges, nightcap at spa, steam sauna secrets. Scared? Mia asked. Terrified, I admitted. But her? Worth every quake. Rehearsal dinner, Cannon Beach clam shack, salt air thick. Vows practiced private. Mine, you pulled me from abyss, now we soar tandem. Hers, my light in every gale. Toasts tiered, dad's gruff. To daughters bold, Evelyn's, hearts find homes unexpected. Ceremony dawn, haystack rock sentinel, waves him. Guests barefoot circle, Luna ring bearer leashed. Me first, voice steady. Lena, you were haven before I sought shelter. Her eyes locked, tears glistening. Reciprocate. Zara all along, my soul knew yours. Rings exchanged, anchors eternal. Kiss sealed, cheers crashing surf. Honeymoon haze, ferry to San Juan's, cabin cliffside. Days kayaking kelp forests, her hand trailing water. Nights stargazing nude, blankets insufficient. Mrs. Ellis Reed, she teased, surname -dream. Or Reed Ellis. Partners equal. Return reforged routines, merged finances, shared sabbaticals. Book sequel brewed, entwined horizons. Pride March, now spouses, banners bold, survived. Loved. Thrived. Anniversary first, 1 year post-vows. We revisited hospital roof. Bouquet toss seaward, promises renewed. Darkest days, she mused. Birthing brightest. Life layered legacies. Luna's puppies promised. Foster care training started. Art residencies called. Her PhD beckoned depths. In every us core. Through tempests tamed, love's lesson etched. Not perfection, but persistence. Zara and Lena, once friends forged fire, now flames eternal, illuminating paths for those trailing shadows. Marriage's mantle settled light at first, a velvet cloak over bones still mending from battles past. 30 dawned with fanfare, Lena's surprise party at the aquarium. Bioluminescent tanks casting ethereal glow, guests toasting to decades more. I blew candles on a cake shaped like Puget Sound, her arm around me, whispering, my forever 30. But beneath revelry, undercurrents tugged, the subtle shift in how friends deferred to the wives, the weight of expectations we'd invited by vowing eternal. Love was easy, labels labyrinthine. Career currents converged. My second book, Entwined Horizons, dove deeper. Essays on queer resilience post-trauma, illustrations vivid as vein maps. Launch in New York, autumn leaves carpeting village streets drew crowds, survivors clutching copies, tearful thanks. Lena, jet-lagged but jet-bright, moderated panels, her marine expertise weaving metaphors of ocean endurance. Post-signing dinners at dim Italian spots, her foot hooked mine under tables, grounding amid acclaim's roar. You're changing narratives, she'd say, fork twirling pasta. Nights in hotel lofts, city hum distant, we'd debrief naked, skin stories trading, her lab rival sabotage, my agent's push for straighter cover art. Laughter dissolved tensions, bodies bridging gaps. Home harbors hosted evolutions. Luna, gray-muzzled now, claimed the armchair throne. We debated pups, scrolling shelter sites over breakfast burritos. 2. Lena insisted. A boy for mischief, girl for your heart. Adoption classes loomed, home visits, interviews probing readiness. Think we're parent material? I fretted one evening, paints drying on dropcloths. She knelt, Luna's head in lap. We're survivors, Z. That's foundation. Family folds deepened. Parents' Oregon farm visit, elderberries ripening, brought candor. Dad, pipe clenched porch side, admitted, struggled with the book. But seeing you too, it's holy in its way. Mom baked pies lace love, quizzing Lena on recipes, Bonds baking slow. Evelyn's annual spoken soiree evolved tradition, potluck progressives, church friends thawing to allies. One Easter, her sermons swapped brimstone for bridge building, post-service brunch, she pulled us aside. Proud. And sorry for delays. Hugs healed historical hurts. Yet ripples rocked. A gallery collab soured, partner balking at overt lesbianism, in joint exhibit. I withdrew, headlines spinning, artist stands firm on queer identity. Backlash surged, emails vitriolic, social scrolls toxic. Lena curated digital firewall, but isolation crept. Studio days stretched solitary, brushstrokes angry. She countered with adventures, spontaneous drives to Leavenworth, Bavarian village festooned lights, pretzels steaming. Worlds bigger than bigots, she declare, ale mug raised, polka dancing us dizzy. Nights in chalets firelit, her lovemaking lyrical. Your fire fuels mine. Health harmonics hummed vigilant. Annual scans ritualized, gowns papery, machines whirring cold. Clear verdicts celebrated small, rooftop picnics, charcuterie, and chardonnay. But one spring, markers flickered. Follow-up ultrasound loomed. Waiting weeks warped time. Insomnia's grip, her lullabies hummed soft. Breathe with me, she'd coach. Yoga mats unrolled dawn. Benign fibroid, doc decreed. Exhale collective. To Mark, we volunteered at Cancer Center Art Therapy, my workshops painting pain to power. A teen girl, bald and bold, inked unsinkable, Lena teared, squeezing my hand. Your legacy. Parenthood paths paved purposeful. Shelter visit yielded Milo and sage. Fluff balls chaotic, chewing baseboards gleeful. Nights blurred fetch frenzied, mornings puppy piled. Foster certification cleared. First placement, a 12-year-old named Riley, runaway with rainbow pins and trust fractures. Her arrival tentative, duffel clutched, eyes wary. Lena cooked favorites, I sketched her safe spaces. Bedtime stories wove our tales. Once, a girl fought dragons inside. Riley softened slow, hugs thawing. 6 months in, biomom reclaimed, goodbye gutted, but growth glinted, our home, hearth proven. Social C's swelled supportive. Queer chorus joined, rehearsals harmonious, voices blending beltings of defying gravity. Performances packed halls, spotlights sisterly. Post-show receptions, arms linked, we'd field queries. How do you know? Answers evolved. She made the world make sense. Winter's wool gathering gifted gestations. Snowed in, cabin fevered, we journaled joint, pages pairing grievances and graces. Mine, fear of fading. Hers, doubt of deserving. Afternoons sledding Discovery Park, rosy-cheeked, erased entries. New Year's, bonfire beach, resolutions resonant. Cultivate courage. Spring's symphony sang expansions. Lena's postdoc at Scripps beckoned California sun. We weighed relocation, roots reluctant. Compromise, sabbatical split, me guest artisting UCLA. Road trip prelude, U-Haul humorous. Puppy pee puddles, playlists nostalgic. SoCal arrival dazzled. Palm shadows, ocean cerulean. Her lab dives yielded discoveries, coral symbionts thriving. My murals graced campus walls, queer icons vivid. Distance tested, then tempered. Weekly flights bridged, layovers lounging airports, hands intertwined gates. Calls crackled intimate, miss your scent on pillows. Reunions reignited, her apartment, surf crashing audible, lovemaking urgent as undertow. Fall repatriated us Seattle-bound, tans fading, tales traded. Book 3 brewed, Foster Flames, Riley inspired, permission penned. Gallery redemption, solo retrospective, walls whispering our arc. Anniversary 3rd, Volcano View Cabin, we renewed micro-vows. Through Foster's fleeting, fears enduring. Rings kissed, stars saluted. Life's loom wove whimsical, puppy parades, Foster fundraisers. In every thread, love's warp, not flawless, but fierce. Zara and Lena, horizons ever entwining, beacons for wanderers seeking shore. Mid-30s milestone crept coy, birthdays blending into backdrops of burgeoning blueprints. 35 flickered candlelit at a rooftop soiree overlooking the sound, fairies ghosting mist, guests toasting, to chapters unfolding. Lena, ever the orchestrator, gifted a custom easel, carved anchor's legs, palette slot etched beloved. I countered with a star-named comet, certificate framed, for the woman who lit my orbit. Laughter laced the night, but as cake crumbs scattered, a quiet settled, reflections on roads traversed, forks untaken. Vocations vaulted. My Foster Flames manuscript ignited bidding war, advance affording studio expansion, a light-flooded loft in Pioneer Square, brick walls echoing history. Signings swarmed, libraries lively, book clubs bonded over bisexuality's blur, my late bloomer truth, woven tentative. One Chicago Eve, post-reading, a fan lingered. Your story. It freed my marriage's mask. Handshake trembled. Lena, shadowing security, winked proud. Her realm rippled too. Scripts paper published, heralding sustainable aquaculture. TED invite trailing. Ocean's advocate. I teased, practicing slides, her passion palpable. Parenting pursuits, deep in dives. Riley's visits voluntary now. Teen turbulent, triumphs texted. Ace bio, thanks to Lena's Kelpax. Foster flux flowed. Siblings Sophia and Mateo, 5 and 7. Chaos coordinated. Crayon murals. Bedtime bilingual. Placement stretched year. Goodbye gathering. Park picnic. Balloons buoyant. You'll always have aunties, Lena vowed. Tears masked mischief. Void ached, but agency calls refilled. Eventual match. Kai, 8. Trans boy with sketches sharp. Scars sibling lost. His arrival armored. Foster fatigue etched eyes. But art thawed. Joint canvases, colors confessing. Families chosen. He murmured one dusk, brush in fist. We nodded, hearts homing. Community currents carried. Mentorship bloomed, queer youth center workshops, my palette their palette, Lena guesting science of self. One session, a non-binary kid inked visible, hugging fierce post. Backlash lingered low. School board challenge to my book in libraries, inappropriate for youth. Petition pulse support. Victory vindicated, spines shelved safe. Health harmonies held, but vigilance voiced. Menopause murmurs early, hot flashes hormonal, docs deeming treatment toll. Hormone therapy trialed, moods mercurial, Lena learned lingo, lavender compresses cooling. Your body's boss, she'd affirm, fans whirring. Scans steadfast clear, gratitude grounded, volunteer hours upped. Art for chemo kids, palettes palliative. Travel tantalized. Sabbatical synced. Iceland's geysers geothermal. Northern lights are aurora private. Reykjavik rambles. Geothermal pools steaming. Bodies buoyant. Like us, she quipped. Steam-veiled kiss. Hot under pressure. Greece followed. Santorini whites cliff-perched. Calderas cradling sunsets. Ruins romantic. Acropolis whispers ancient loves. Our hands laced labyrinthine. Echoes of us. I mused, marble cool. Home hall. Olive oil drizzled, myths mulled. Conflicts coalesced covert. Lena's postdoc promotion pitted politics, senior colleague, cishet gatekeeper, sidelining her niche focus. Grant denied, ego bruised, home vents vented. Merit my ass, it's me. I rallied references, rage righteous, breakthrough. Rival Institute offer, Seattle satellite. Your wave, I cheered, acceptance champagne. My front, agent pitched biopic, Hollywood hovering. Script reads sanitized, trauma toned, queerness queerbait. Pass, I declared, Lena's nod notice. Art over assimilation. Winters weave warmed intimacies. Cabin retreat, Methow Valley, snow sculpted. Afternoons cross-country skiing, trails twining, evenings journals joint. Fears fronting. Mine. Fading fertility, kids bio ours. Hers. Legacy beyond labs. Dialogues danced delicate, IVF explored, ethics entangled, adoption affirmed anchor. Spring's thaw-thawed talks. Agency match, infant girl, birth mom brave. Placement pending, hearts hovered hopeful. Social symphonies swelled. Wedding vow renewals for couples collective. Our turn. Beach bonfire, flames flickering fidelities. Vows voiced, aged like whiskey, sharper still. Rings refreshed, salt sprayed. Anniversary 5th, Paris Pied de Terre, Seine strolled. Eiffel twinkled teas, cafe confessions. Dark days? Distant dreams now. Seine sailed, her head shoulder-nested. Fall's foliage framed Foster's finalized. Kai's adoption dawned court-cloaked, judge's gavel grace, his grin gold. Family official. Homecoming hullabaloo, balloons bursting, cake chaos. Nights nested 3, storytime stacked, his sketches starring. Book tour triumph. National, cities stitching stories. Boston beans baked, Atlanta accents affable. Denver dusk, panel post, fan-gifted fan art. Us anchors afloat. Inspired, she said. Lena's conference conjoined, keynotes killer. Winter's hush heralded holidays hybrid. Oregon/spoken shuttle, tables bridged. Dad carved turkey tender, Evelyn's pie peace offering. Toasts tangled. To kin kindled. Life's a ledger balance bold. Foster's flowing, careers cresting, love labyrinth loving. In Kai's eyes, Lena's laugh, my brushes bite. Purpose painted, profound. 40 flickered flirtatious, a threshold tiptoed with trepidation and triumph. Birthday bash blended beach and bistro, Alki sand sunset, grill grates glowing, Kai corralling cousins in kite chaos. Lena, sun-kissed freckles fierce, presented a locket. Miniature us inside, anchors ad infinitum. For when miles mock. I reciprocated with telescope, backyard bound. Stars for our stories. Cake consumed, waves whooshing, reflections rippled. Decade dawned dire, now dynasty. Professions peaked. My trilogy capped with legacy lines, graphic novel Genesis to grandkids, accolades avalanche, lambda literary nod, graphic memoir MacArthur murmur. Panels proliferated. Comic-Con cosplay queer, her armory anecdotes arm in arm. Signing swarms, Sharpies signing solidarity. One Vegas vendor, voice veiled, slipped note. Came out 'cause you. Heart hitched, Lena's squeeze solidarity. Her horizons heightened, tenure track UW. Tenured tides turning. Classroom captivescence. Undergrads rakton restaurations, koi guesting, deres divis. Publications poured, policy pivots, sustainable fishing forums, her voice vanguard. Joint grant gelled. Art science exhibit, title ties, my murals meeting her models, galleries gasping. Parenthood palette painted profound. Kai, teen tumbling 12, bloomed brilliant, sketches selling school auctions, soccer star scoring. Challenges churned, coming out convos casual, his trans truth toddler told, but bullies bit. PDA skirmish. Coaches boys team Barb, Lena lobbied league I illustrated team true. Victory vindicated, huddle hugs healing. Sibling seed sprouted. Foster duo, twins Tia and Theo, 3. tornado toddling. Emergency placement stretched permanent. Home hummed harmony, fourfold. Health hymns harmonized, but harmonies hiccuped. Perimenopause peaked. Insomnia insistent, bones brittle whispers. DEXA scans danced denial, calcium cocktails, yoga yielding. Lena learned load-bearing, bone broth bruise, trail treks tandem. My markers monitored meticulous. Clear cascades continued, charity chairing cancer crusades. Wanderlust wove wider. Japan jaunt, cherry blossoms blushing Kyoto, temples tolling tranquility. Onsen soaks, steam sacred, bodies buoyant. Renewal, she sighed, spring-fed. Morocco meandered next. Marrakesh Medinas maze-like, Riyadh's rose-scented. Souk sketches, her haggling hilarity. Sahara sands, camel caravan, stars stupendous. Deserts are depth, I diagrammed, dunes drawing. Tensions tempered trials. Kai's crush crisis, first love, lad labeled, but labels lax. Heart doesn't heed teams, he confided, cafeteria conundrum. We coached candid. Listen louder than labels. Heartbreak healed hikes, ice cream imperatives. Lena's lab leak, data debacle, colleague culprit, stung sabotage. Trust tsunami, she seethed, spreadsheet salvaged. I anchored audits, absolution absent. Promotion postponed, perseverance prized. Social sales swelled. Book club birthed, queer canon, couches crowded.
Discussion d'Elved, Audre Lorde Libération, Win Warming.
Chorus concerts crescendoed, Kai contralto curious, joining junior jamboree. Anniversary 7th, Galapagos Gala, tortoise treks, blue-footed boobies ballet. Snorkel symphonies raise rippling, yacht yawns her yarn, evolved together. Rings rinsed reef water, vows voiced volcanic. Winter's whimsy warded woes.
Kabinkozies crossmorts collaborative, que scarol skronet mims tmirling. Spokan bara diagonal oregon jule jojo, fis fused.
Spring's surge spurred surprises. Pregnancy pondered, surrogacy sparked, seeds sown Lenas. Consults cascaded, ethics embraced, match miraculous, carrier kindred. Ultrasounds unveiled, girl, gestating grace. Summer's simmer stewed settlements. Exhibit title ties toured, Toronto throngs, Tokyo teeming. Critiques crowned, love's lattice literal. Fall's fruition flowered. Daughter dawned alone, elm tree, elfin eyes echoing ours. Birth balletic, Lena's hand hers, Kai kin crowning. Homecoming hushed holy, twins tiptoeing touches. Book 4 budded, blossoms bound, family fables. Gallery grand, retrospective roaring. Life's luminous loom, loss's lessons, love's legacies. In Alohan's gaze, Kai's grin, Lena's lean, eternity etched, exquisite. Half-century horizon hove hazy, but vigor veiled age's veneer. 50 saluted seaside, family flotilla, kayaks kin deep, Alohan 8, paddling proficient. Lena, silver-streaked auburn aglow, unveiled voyage log, decades docketed, drawings dotted. Our Odyssey. I unveiled orchard plot, Oregon bound. Roots replanted. Bonfire banter, marshmallows molten, musings mounted, maladies mended, miracles multiplied. Endeavors elevated. Blossoms bound, bloomed bestseller, branches budding ballets, Broadway buzz, graphic opera overtures. Stages spotlighted. Off-Broadway, my narration nuanced, Lena lighting lore. Applause avalanched. After parties, arms akimbo, anecdotes abundant. Kai, 20 now, collaborated covers his line work live, legacy linked. Lena's laurels layered, Professor Emerita murmurs, Marine Conservancy chair. Textbooks touted her theorems, TED's timeless. Joint Institute ignited. Art of the Abyss. Residencies reeling researchers, artists allying. Kinship kaleidoscope. Kai, college-bound coder cum cartoonist, crushes casual, partners panning genders fluid. Poly possible, he probed, pride parried. Hearts harbor, harbors many. We hashed, hugs hedging. Twins Tia and Theo, teens tempestuous, tangoed track and theater, Theo's tenor, Tia's track times topping. Eloan, sprite sharp, sketch symphonies, soccer sideline stories. Health horizons held hail, but hedges hemmed. Osteoporosis nipped, naturopath nudged, weights weighted walks, greens gulped. Lena's lumpectomy, benign bump, biopsy brisk, bonded breast cancer brigade, bracelets beaded. Scans synchronized serene, philanthropy peaked, foundation funding, anchors ahead. Odysseys outpaced. Patagonia prowled, glaciers groaning, guanacos grazing. Trekstaching, triumphestranskendent, persevere, banted, beaxposing. New Zealand navigated, Maori merry, fjords fjord fierce. Hobbiton hiked, her hobbit hole jest. Our hearth humble. Strains surface subtle. Kai's quarter-life quandary, career crossroads, comics versus code, counseled crossroads. Both blend. Brainstormed, beta books born. Lena's sabbatical Sabbath, burnout brushing, balked board. Boundaries, I bolstered Bali bomb. Beaches blissful, bombs botanical. Circles concentric.
Grandkids glimpset kay skin.
Nah, but niece-nephew proxies, playdates playful.
Cores chaims children, elobeneke wingalto.
Anniversary 20th, Amalfi allure, lemons luminous, cliffs caressing. Villa vows. Vintage us vital. Rings burnished, bougainvillea blessing. Winter's whisper wove wisdoms. Hearthside histories, airs huddled, tales tall of tempests tamed. Spokane symposium, Evelyn's eulogy early, peaceful passing, pies perpetual, service sung solidarity. Spring's spark spawned sequoia, orchard, sapling symbol. Eloan engraved, grew from grit. Summer's symphony soireed, family fleet, fairies frolicking.
Exhibit encore, Europe en rapt.
Fall's flourish flowered Foster's final. Alumni always, annuals affectionate. Life's luminous legacy, labor's love lent, lights lingering. In Lena's line lineages laugh, dark days dawn divine, devotion's diadem.